Hello guys, and welcome to the first video of my War Thunder plane review series. First I want to take a look at the Russian I-16 Type 27. This plane sits on a battle rating of 3.0 in realistic battles in Tier 2, and the best way to describe it is it's a Russian Zero. You have a weak airframe, you have a low top speed, but you have a really great maneuverability. The roll rate of this thing is great. You have two Schwach 20mm cannons and two 7.92mm machine guns, which are actually pretty good because the Russian 30 cals are quick firing. They are capable of destroying some things if you run out of cannon rounds, which you won't do too quickly since the I-16 carries 300 rounds of ammunition, 150 per gun, which is a pretty good loadout for a 3.0 plane. It also climbs pretty well. The problem with the I-16 is the same with most of the Russian planes. You can't climb too high. At roughly 3.6 kilometers, you can't use WEP anymore. Most of the yaks don't even have WEP. And even then, if you get to altitudes higher than 3 or 4,000 meters, your engine gets a serious engine power reduction. So what you want to do with Russian planes is either go to high altitudes as far as you can and try to drag the enemy down, or what I like to do, especially with the I-16, I climb up to 3,000 meters and then I stay there. So the enemy has to come down if they want to attack me. And using my maneuverability, I can evade every opponent who is trying to attack me. So if somebody's diving on me, I'm doing a split S or turn away, and hopefully the enemy plane is trying to get into a turn fight with me, which clearly isn't very clever, but there's always enough guys trying to do that. And in that case, you can easily outturn him and kill him. And if that doesn't happen, you should always try to stick with teammates. So every time enemy planes are engaging them, you can get in and kill the enemy while they are not looking at you, while they are distracted. And that's a great way to fly the I-16. It's really capable of quickly changing direction, turning into the enemy, and has a lot of firepower as well. But first, before we get into the action, I want to show you what the shells are for the different guns and a little bit about the fly characteristics. Okay, so if you take a look at the I-16 Type 27, you see that fully spaded, it doesn't have too high of a top speed for a 3.0 battle rating. The climb rate is pretty good and the turn time is amazing. This thing is definitely a turn fighter. And it also carries a lot of guns. Two Schwach cannons with 300 rounds of ammunition, which is pretty amazing. As secondary weapons, you can load two 100 kilogram bombs or two 50s, which aren't that great in ground forces, and in air realistic you really don't want to take them. You can also take rockets. I never take them, but if you're good at killing planes with rockets, this might be fun, but it definitely worsens the I-16's fly characteristics, so it's better not to take them. For the rounds of ammunition, the 7.62s, well, I think the tracers are best. Universal is also good if you want a little less tracers in the air. I always use stealth. they also have a lot of API and AI, so the good shells. I like to, firstly, to surprise the enemy. If you shoot stealth rounds, the enemy doesn't know that you are shooting him. He doesn't see tracers flying by. He might hear that you are shooting, he might hear your guns, but it's definitely a little more of a surprise attack. And secondly, I actually feel like I can aim better if there are no tracers hiding the enemy plane that I want to actually shoot at. So if I have with low velocity shells like the MK108 30mm of the Germans, I would still use tracers because it's harder to aim them. But if you have high velocity guns like also the Shrugs, I use always stealth. With the Shrugs, if you don't want to use stealth, the best rounds are actually the armor targets, because you have the most explosive ammunition. You have the API, but also the heavy rounds are always good, so... well, no, it's the other way around. The heavy are the ones that are explosive, so you want to use the ground targets ammunition. Although the universal is also not bad. So if you use universal ground targets, that's best for those guns, but I really like stealth. And you also have 2 heavy shells or half shells in there. First, we try a 360 turn from 300 km per hour at 2000 meters without comet flaps. And first you can see the roll rate is really amazing, so it's really easy maneuvering, and it takes the plane 13.9 seconds. If we do the same with comet flaps, you see that it's not much of a difference. It takes the plane 13.6 seconds, so only a margin quicker. And at the end, it's also at 240 km per hour, a little less. So there's also not much speed loss using comet flaps. So now we want to take a look at the dive performance. If you want to dive at an opponent, sure, the top speed of the I-16 Type 27 is not too nice, but you see that the controls don't lock up that much. Your roll rate is decreasing, but not too much. And now how about the energy retention if you zoom up again? We started at 280 km per hour, we want to go back to the same speed, and we see that we lost 600 meters, so energy retention is not too good. Back into the battle, we find our first target. It's a SBD-3 flying low and going for ground targets. This should be an easy kill, although you always have to think about what gunnery does the enemy bomber or attacker plane have. And here you see I'm trying to slow down my plane in a dive. I don't want to get too slow, and I do that with my elevator keys. I have WASD assigned to my roll and to my elevators. W is elevator down and S is elevator up. And using S and A I can roll my plane. It's the same keys I also use for invading after I head on. I shoot the enemy plane, then I evade with elevator up and roll to the left. And the same you can do if you're going for a dive and you want to slow down your plane. Especially with the I-16 this works really well, since the roll rate is so quick. And the energy retention is also not too good, which in this case is really helpful. Other planes with a good energy retention have a disadvantage if you want to dive. You can't lose your speed too quickly. So, okay, I killed this SBD-3. First shots weren't too good, but with a little trigger patience you get to the moment when you know, now I can shoot him and I can hit him. Here I see a few enemy planes way above me. What I want to do is I want to wait until my team drags them down, or just until they drag themselves down. So I search for different targets for now. Especially because there are 3 planes. If it would just be one, I would be able to lure him down myself, just wait for him to go for me and turn away. But 3 planes might be a little too much, because I can't evade 3 enemy planes. So I'm first trying to go for this A20G. He's a little higher than me, but I have some speed and I try to helicopter up to him. Maybe I can get some shots. But unfortunately, I aim a little too close to him. But I'm not fast enough to follow him, so I first search for the SPD-3 I saw first. But unfortunately, he's going back for base and he's too far away. If I would follow him, yeah, I would run into the enemy base AAA, and I don't want to do that. So I decide to turn around and go for other targets. That's what you do flying with Russian planes, or planes which you can't climb too high with. At first you're flying at 3000 meters-ish and try to find targets that are low. And if you can't find them, you just fly around and wait for the enemy team to go to lower altitudes. But once that happens, you strike. And I will strike in this battle, you will see. But for now I have to wait a little bit. But already the Spitfires are a little lower than before. There are especially a few that are a lot lower. There's one below me. But before I engage him, I first wanna look around and see what is going on. Looking around with the C key is very important, because situational awareness will prevent you getting killed from somebody you didn't even see coming. So what I do first, I look around and I see there's nobody coming. This guy is going away, so now I can dive for this Spitfire. Throttle to 0%, and I'm still very quick, so I slow down again with my roll and elevator. But now I see he's going up, so I increase my throttle and try to find out what he's doing. And he's going for a head-on. That was, yeah, I evaded. It was very close. I should have evaded a little earlier, but yeah, that's something you have to get used to. You wanna get good shots at the enemy, but you definitely don't wanna get shot in a head-on. This is just, yeah, a waste of your time. You fly so long to just die in a head-on. That's the most stupid way to die. So what I try to do is always get closer to an enemy in a head-on, and as soon as he is only 1.5 kilometers away, I evade. Because further than 1.5 kilometers you can't hit anything, usually. Sure, sometimes you are really unlucky. If you see the tracers coming, you can evade earlier. But that's also a good advantage of stealth rounds that I use. The enemy doesn't know that I'm shooting them. It looks like I'm just evading, which I'm not. I'm actually shooting them, and if you know your guns, where to aim, how high you have to aim to hit the enemy, you can even get kills with head-ons from 1.5 kilometers away, which are always amazing. So now I see everybody is above me again. Now I have to climb up a little bit. I'm too low. I climb away from the enemy, get some more altitude, and wait for another opportunity to engage. As soon as I'm up at 3 kilometers, I can engage again. But then I see this P-38. He's a little higher than me, but not too high, and I feel confident that I can engage him. Because if he goes down for me, he has more speed, but I can just turn, and I just hope that he will turn with me. I did a little head-on move there, and he actually got a few shots at me afterwards. And luckily, he's trying to turn fight with me. Which is... yeah. Which is not very smart from him. Thank you very much. And then the Spitfire comes. He also gets some shots at me because I didn't see him early enough. I actually saw him coming, but engaging the P-38, it took me a little too long, so I forgot about him. Now the P-40 is running. He has 2 players behind him, so I use the time to check the players. 5 enemy players left. I look around, search for them, I look at the map and I see a friendly landed, and I can't see where the enemy planes are. So first I check my plane and I see my engine is orange, so I have to take care about that. And then I see 2 F4Us behind me and the P-40 is turned. So I go for a dive and try to get some shots in him. Unfortunately I aim a little too close again, and now the turn fight is on. The F4Us and the P-40 can't possibly turn with me, so I just have to care for... well, there are 3 enemy planes, so I have to be careful about that. I am at the back of this guy and I try to get shots in him, but then I see... yeah, first I check if there's anybody behind me. He's far away, so I can go for those 2 guys. One of the F4Us shot a Yak-9 down, a Yak-1 crashed. Good work, team. And I'm getting closer to this F4U. Have to still be careful, and in this point in time I forget to look around. Luckily he didn't hit with his guns and I saw the tracer, so I do a high yo-yo to get at his back, and it even works. He doesn't evade, doesn't do anything about that. He is probably looking at the other plane following him, and now I am at both of their backs. I use the advantage here. He's trying to turn, which he can't. Unluckily I again don't get shots in him, but this time I do. He's critted, he's burning. He will probably not get out of that one, and here I did some risky head on. It was a little too close, but he was not hitting me, and he's turning like the other guy. I don't know why those shots didn't hit, but now I'm at his back. He's trying to turn away, which he can't. He should have just run. Unfortunately I got hit by, I don't know, probably the P-40. But even a burning Russian plane is a strong Russian plane. I try to get hits in him, and I actually credit him, and he will be going down. So yeah, the P-40 killed me. I had good situational awareness, but not good enough. You can't ever have enough situational awareness. The problem here was that a lot of my teammates already died, so I was fighting more than 1 enemy plane. And yeah, you should always look around more than I did. I have to even more look around. So let's go to the ratings. Okay, for the rating of planes I want to use the same topics as for tanks, just interpret it differently. First I want to look at the survivability of the I-16, and well, it can evade pretty easily, but if you get hit, the plane is not very durable. It's on a very weak airframe, so I want to give it a 4 out of 10. Agility wise, it's not very quick, but it's very agile in rolling, in turning, so I am giving it a 8 out of 10. The armament of the I-16, especially for 3.0, is really good with those 2 cannons. So I want to give it a 7 out of 10. The fun factor of the plane, I will give it an 8 out of 10 because I really have a lot of fun playing this plane. It's awesome. So as a total rating, I want to give it a 7 out of 10. So, should you research the I-16 Type 27? Should you play it again, or whatever you are thinking about. Well, I really like this plane. I have a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite planes in the game, and so I definitely recommend playing it again or grinding for it. It's just a tier 2 plane. It's not that expensive. You can even put a talisman for researching tier 3 Russians on it. Okay, so that's about it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy my new review series. I will go on reviewing tanks and planes. Next up will be the Cromwell 5, and after that I wanna get a review for the British Premium Mustang MK1. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, and bis zum nächsten Mal. And that's why I like to play the Tiger 2H way better. And the S2 couldn't even do anything.